continue this conversation around what it means to worship our incredible God, the one who we need, and the one who provides absolutely everything that we need. Right? So if you were here with us last week, you remember that we were in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, right? And as we were taking a look at Genesis chapter 2, we looked at what those words actually mean, right? That the Lord God took the priest and he put him in the temple. And he put him there to worship and to help others to worship, right? Remember this? Now last week we unpacked those two words, right? And so Nancy, we talked about the fact that what that word worship means, the word that is most frequently translated as worship in the Old Testament means to serve or to become a slave, right? It means to come before God, say, you're the king, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to do it? And then do it. Right? And then a priest's job, a priest who is the temple of God, our job is to worship our God, that vertical relationship, and to help other people to do the same thing, right? Everybody up to speed? Oh, good. You know, as I was studying this passage of Scripture and I was looking at what it means for us to be a priest, what does it look like for us to worship our God, Joyce, it struck me that this is not a theme that is a once and done. You know, it shows up throughout all of Scripture. So, for instance, when you open the book of Exodus, we read an echo of this exact call, this exact purpose that God gave to Adam and Eve. And part of why that's significant is it's a reminder that it wasn't just for Adam and Eve, right? So check this out for a second. You know this? God told Moses to tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Can you finish the sentence? So that they might worship me. Oh, good job. You're so much better than Charlton Heston. He had the let my people go part, right? He kind of skipped that last part. Let's make a face of me. Anyhow, yes, we fill this in. It says, let my people go, that they might worship me. And guys, what's really cool about that word that we get translated in, and you can see how many times, I just gave you a smattering of how many times it shows up in that passage of Scripture when Moses goes to Pharaoh, who is holding the Israelite people captive, and the command that he's given, the word that God speaks, is let my people go so that they can worship me. It's the exact same word as what shows up in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. It's the same word, guys. And so that means that when the Lord was first creating people and when he was first calling his people, he had the same purpose. Now, let's just unpack this for a second, because Pharaoh got confused, and so maybe we do too. Nadine, the Lord was not saying, hey Moses, I want you to go tell Pharaoh, let my people go so that they can go have a 90-minute worship service. 100 and Moses was long-winded. And then you can go back to your normal life, right? He wasn't even saying, and Pharaoh proposed this, right? Moses says to him, God says, let my people go so they can worship me. And Pharaoh says, okay, you can go for 3 days. I mean, like weekend retreats started in the book of Exodus. See, it's funny. Just laugh. He thought, okay, here's all you got to do. Just go away for the weekend. Take 3 days. Go do your thing with your God, but then come back to your normal life. That's not what God had in mind. Because that's not what that word means, right? Let my people go so that they may worship me meant, hey, Pharaoh, they don't serve you anymore. They're not going to live in your land anymore. They're not going to act like you and your people anymore. Set my people free so that with their entire lives, they can serve me. With their entire lives, they can come before me, dwell in my presence, and worship me. Now, just in case God's people got confused and they missed the memo, the Lord said, well, let me just drill this a little bit more deeply. So in Exodus chapter 19, verse 6, the Lord looks at his people and he says, what it says in Hebrew is, all y'all, right? It does. All y'all will be to me a kingdom of what? Priests. And a holy nation, right? Catch that. Genesis 2:15, God took his priest, he put him in a temple, he said, worship me, help other people worship me. When God calls his people in Exodus, he says, I want you to leave where you are, come and worship me, because you're going to be my priest. Now, I got tickled when I was reading that, because I thought, I wonder what that was like, Becky, for the Israelite people when they heard that. Right? Because God did not say to them, some of you from the midst of you will be my priests. And if the rest of you could just do ordinary life and keep things trucking, that'd be great. Right? He said, all of you are to be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Thursday night when we were gathered for a small group and we were talking about God's call on our life, a couple of the folks there said, Mr. Mike, one of them said, you know what, here's the thing, preacher, I have a context for certain special people being priests. That'd be me, right? I have a context for ministers. I got a context for the people we actually call priests, worshiping God every day, doing everything for them, helping other people to worship. I don't quite have a context for me doing that. That's a fair statement. And I bet it was a fair statement for the people of Israel. Now, for 400 years they've lived in Egypt, and so for 400 years they've grown accustomed to seeing a special class, a special category of people called priests, who lived in the temple and who worshipped, the crocodile god and the sun god and the sand god and I don't know, lots of different gods, right? They had a category for that. They didn't have a category for them being priests. They're just ordinary folks. Their parents, and some of them were bakers, and some of them were seamstresses, and they were shepherds. I mean, they hung out with smelly, nasty sheep. Talk to my mom about them, she hates them. They did all of these different things that were just normal everyday life. They were couples, and they had great marriages, and some days they didn't have great marriages, and they just lived life. They have a context for somebody else being a priest, worshiping God and helping other people to worship. And they had a context for going to the temple and kind of, watching the priest do the priest thing. They didn't have a context for being the one. And I bet neither do we. I mean, the truth of the matter is that applies to all of us, right? Because if I'm called to be a priest who God has set apart to worship Him and help other people to worship Him, it's not just when I'm in this building. I mean, I kind of feel like I live here, but I don't actually. I guess I leave and interact with other humans every now and again, right? We all need maybe a picture of what it looks like to be a priest who says, God, in everything that I do, I want to worship you. And you know, Yvonne, God is such a good, faithful God that I think He looked at the people of Israel and He gave this command and He said, I know you don't know how to do it. You just don't have a context for it. And praise the Lord, He did not look at them and say, well, that's because you're dumb. He looked at them and said, I'll teach you. I'm going to give you a picture for what it looks like to worship me and help other people to worship. And I think what we're going to discover today as we look at this picture, that worshiping God, serving Him with our whole lives, honestly, guys, it's about what we see in our lives. Now, worshiping God is about what my eyes see. What I allow my eyes to see when I'm at work, when I'm at school, when I'm at home, when everything's great, when things really aren't. And helping other people to worship is about what we show, oddly enough. I want us to take a look at something for a minute, because when the Lord looked at the people of Israel, He said, I want to teach you how to worship me. He looked at them and He said, I don't want to do this theoretically. I don't want you to sit in on a class. He said, I want your everyday life to be about what you see and about what you show. And so God did when I read it in the Old Testament, honestly, I skip it. Because it just seems so mundane and boring. And I'm like, Lord, this can't be significant. Let's keep trying. But God did something so mundane and so boring. Because every day of their everyday existence, He wanted to give them something to see and something to show. Now, the something to see and the something to show shows up most clearly in the book of Numbers, chapter 2. So I'm going to invite you to go ahead and find there. I lied to you in the bulletin. This throws everybody for a loop, doesn't it? Numbers, chapter 2. If you have turned there and you're slightly terrified about how boring today's going to be, just bear with me. Because the heading in the NIV says the arrangement of the tribal camp. Ooh. Russ, I really didn't normally skip this part, but we're going to read it. We're not actually, but we're going to skim it for a minute, right? Numbers chapter 2, guys, if you just bear with me, I want you to see. God gives the people something to see so they can worship, and He gives them something to show so they can help other people to worship. But Numbers chapter 2 honestly just tells us how the Israelite people set up camp. right? So it looks something along these lines. The Lord says, here's what's going to happen. The tribe of Judah, which you can read, is 74,600 people. We're not going to keep reading that. Lines up first on the east, followed, if my clicker would work, by the tribe of Issachar, followed by the tribe of Zebulun. And that gives you 186,400 people, all situated to the east. Fascinating yet? Oh, good. Next. To the south. Can't tell if it's just delayed or not working. Here it goes. To the south, we get Reuben, Simeon, and Gad. So they all line up to the east, then to the south. Next. We have a crazy delay today. Mr. Eric, can you help us out? Oh, we're going to go backwards for a moment. Just kidding. There we go. We can pause there. So they line up to the south, or the east, they line up to the south. Next comes the tabernacle, right smack dab in the middle. Next up, maybe. The tribes to the west line up. And finally, when they pitch camp, the tribes to the north. You notice anything about this? That's a cross, isn't it? That's a cross, and right smack dab in the middle is the tabernacle. Who lives there? God. God, right? So, just track with me for a second. The Lord calls his people, and he says, I want you to be to me a kingdom of priests. I want you to worship me with everything that you have, and I know you don't quite know how to do that. And so he says, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you something to see. The first thing he gives them to see is himself, right smack dab in the middle there. We get to see God, right at the center of their lives. This is how they camped for 40 years. So for 40 solid years, God dwelt right in the center of their lives. We're going to talk in a couple minutes about what that allowed them to see. But as long as they were forever seeing God at the center of their lives, what did they get to show? They had to show Christ, right? Their whole lives, as long as they're seeing God, their whole lives puts Christ on display. They get to show the cross. And now they had no clue what they were signing up for, but we do. We've got an artist who drew it this way and said, could you just imagine being the person far away, that as you look at this group of people who keep God at the center of their lives because they worship him, they show to the whole world Christ on display. Now, in the next week, we're going to talk about what does it look like to help other people worship, to show them Christ on display in our life. But we got to start by seeing what the people of Israel would have seen for 40 years. To see God at the center of our lives. And so you and I, we do not line up in a camp that forever looks like a cross and has God right in the middle because we don't need to. We have God right within us. When God dwelt in the midst of his people, he was giving them this invitation to learn. What's it mean to be a priest every day? What's it look like to worship me every day? Because to worship God every day means to see God at the center of everything. Everything. And I'm going to argue for us today, or not even argue, but just present before us today that I think, Kathy, when we look at God at the center of our lives, and we take this exact image that he gave to the people of Israel, the cloud of glory dwelling right there for 40 solid years, that we're invited to see God three ways in every situation of our life. We're invited to see his face, we're invited to see his cloud, and we're invited to see his light. And when I can start to look at any situation, any place that I am, any circumstance, and I can see God's face, God's cloud, and God's light, then I can learn how to be a priest. I can learn how to worship God in anything. So let's back this up for a second. Let's talk about his face. Numbers chapter 2, verses 1 and 2 says this. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, the Israelites are to camp around the tent of meeting, and the NIV says, some distance from it, each man under his standard with the banners of his family. The people are to camp around the tent of meeting, keeping it at its center. NIV says some distance from it. But that word is a cool word in Hebrew, too. And what it literally says is there to camp with the tabernacle in the face of it. In the face of it. So they're to camp, pitch their tents every day, so that when they walk out of their tents, the first thing that they see is the tabernacle. The first thing they see is the cloud of God above it. The first thing that they see is the face of God looking right back at them. But could you imagine? Can you imagine opening your tent every single day and you walk outside of that tent and it's morning time and it's breakfast, and what you look at is you see the face of the one who loves you. You go away to work and you look up from your job and you see the face of the one who has specifically created you, gifted you uniquely as the person that you are, and then sent you to that job. You come across a special neighbor. Yes. And you look beyond your special neighbor to the face of the one who loves that person too. Or maybe more importantly, the face of the one who understands your heart and in the situation that you're entering into. You go home at the end of the day and you're tired and you're worn out and you kind of want to kick the dog, but you know that you're about to do that in the face of the one who sees everything, who is all love and all power. You know, my whole day might become worship if I start to realize that I do it in the face of God. That's what God gave them to see. For 40 solid years, they looked up there and they were instructed every single time you set up camp. You set it up so that you are in front of the face of God. And then remember that. And what would that change about your day and my day if we started to live that way? I mean, what would change about, like, your internal chatter in the morning when you wake up and today is another day to do the same routine that you do every single day? You feel that way? Some of you with small children, I think, especially feel that way. You wake up in the morning and say, all I get to do today is get up at the crack of 9 and go take care of my grandkids. All I get to do today is the same thing I did yesterday, get dressed, eat breakfast, go to work. Would it change my internal chatter if I get up in the morning and I think the first thing I see is the face of God? And I look in the face of the one who said, this is the day that I have made, and I've given it to you. Rejoice and be glad. And I'm doing the morning routine, and I'm fixing breakfast, or you're washing dishes, or you're throwing that load of laundry in, praying that it gets done before you have to leave. And being able to say, do this in the face of God, who has given me these people to love and to take care of. Would that make the most mundane task worship? Because I get to do it in His face. And what if you go to work, and you go to school, and you go to wherever it is that we spend the most of our time, and instead of saying, Lord, it's been wonderful spending my quiet time with you this morning, I now check you off the list, and I leave you behind the door, but I walk into my workplace, or I walk into school, and I say, God, I'm here today, and everything I'm going to do, I do in the face of the one who has specifically gifted and called me for this job today. I bet I would become very ethical in everything I did, and my work would become excellent. Because everything I do is in the face of God. The Lord, they're teaching me geometry today. I still don't understand why I have to learn geometry. I really don't get it. But I'm going to do this in the face of God, trusting that you're present here and that you've given me this brain to be able to put to use. God, you brought customers, you brought patients, you brought clients here in front of me today, and I'm going to interact with them, knowing that every word I speak to them, I'm also speaking in front of the face of God. Guys, that's worship. Looking at somebody and saying, okay, I've got a client who I can check a box off. I know that Julia can look at them down at the county office and say, I can check this box off because I've done what the paperwork says to do. Or Lord, I can look at this client and say, I'm going to serve in your face. So I'm not going to just check box off. I'm going to do the absolute best I can to see that this person gets what they need. Then my job becomes a place of worship because it's in the face of God. What if you're at your workplace and you got that special coworker and they're lying. They're lying about you. They're lying about what you did. Does it change things if I get to know that I do everything I do in the face of God? Which means He heard and He saw what was actually true. And I don't have to fight that battle. He's going to. I might take away some of my defensiveness. Because even that's in the face of God. I'm going to go home at the end of the day picture. We see the face of God in every interaction. We are transformed. And everything we do gets to become worship. Because everything we do is done for Him, because of Him, and in front of Him. That's worship. That changes the way I do my day. And I hope it changes the way you do yours. And it ought to change the way that we live our lives, because everything we do, done in the face of a God who loves us, and a God who will forgive us every time we mess up, and a God who keeps saying, keep coming. Step out of your tent, let's begin this day in my face. Amen? Amen. As we learn how to worship, when we first look and we say, I see the face of God. Second thing that enables us to worship is when we look and we see God's cloud. Thumb back, if you would, to the book of Exodus. Very, very final verses of the book of Exodus, chapter 40, let's look at 36 and 37. Exodus 40, verses 36 and 37 is when they just set up the tabernacle. They just set up the people of God. They've just gotten into this position. So for the first time, the Israelite people can see God in their center, right? Exodus 36, 37 says this: in all the travels of the Israelites, whenever the cloud lifted from above the tabernacle, they would set out. But if the cloud did not lift, they did not set out until the day that it lifted. Let's pause there. Keep your finger, because we're going to come back to 38. Now, Becky, scriptures tell us, and you see it in this artist rendering here, that for the 40 years that the people of Israel were learning how to be priests, God dwelt in their midst in the form of a cloud, right? It was a cloud of smoke by day. It was a cloud of fire by night. And Cheryl, what we just read there says that any time that cloud picked up and God started to move, Israel moved with him. Now here's the thing. God didn't send a memo. Right? He did not send 24 hours notice and say, 24 hours from now, please have everything that was on your personal agenda wrapped up because we're going to move. He didn't need to. Because he was teaching them how to be priests. And priests are always looking to see the face of God. And so priests are always looking to say, where's the cloud? Where is God today? And what's he doing? And Lord, the second that cloud moved, whatever they were doing, whatever their personal agenda was, it stopped. They quit everything, picked up camp, and they said, follow God. Wherever he is, that's where I want to be. So they kept their eyes not only on the face of God, to say we want to see that everything we do is done in front of God, but they said we want to see the cloud of God because we want to be wherever God is. Can you imagine that? Now, I'll be perfectly honest. I wish that God just kind of walked around in the cloud and he showed me, go here, talk to this person, do that. He doesn't. But he does dwell within me. You know, my days with the Lord, they look something like this. I get up in the morning, I see the face of God, I know that he's here, this is the day that he has given me, and I say, Lord, here's my plans for today. And he chuckles. He's polite about it, but he chuckles. So, Lord, here's what I want to do today, and here's what I think you want me to do today. Show me what you want, how to do it, and I'm going to go do it, because I want to worship you today. And somewhere, inevitably, throughout the course of the day, an interruption will come. Somebody shows up. The phone rings. The email comes. I had planned a very, very fast trip to Walmart. And you walk in, and you see that one person you haven't seen in forever. And I'll be real frank. Internally, I go, okay, see them in aisle 3. I think I could get to aisle 6 before they see me. Because everything within me wants to say, God, I got an agenda. And I have a plan for today, and I know where I'm going. But sometimes I'll stop. And I'll start looking. And say, Father, is your cloud in aisle 3? Have you moved from what I thought we were going to do today, and you're actually working right there with that person, in that situation? This thing that I think is an interruption, is it actually an invitation? You know, that's what worship looks like, right? Worship is being willing to look at the interruptions in my daily life and say, Lord, is this where you are today? Sometimes worship is looking at the people that are going to come through your midst anyhow. You know, it's when Devin's down at the PT office, or Leslie's looking at some of her students, or the other faculty You're going to interact with them anyhow, but some moments the Lord says, pay attention, my cloud's right here. I'm currently at work in this person's life, and they need somebody to listen to them, because that's how they're going to know that I hear them. And they need somebody to stop, hear their story, look them back in the eye, and say, would you come to my church? I will meet you. We've got beautiful red benches. I'll be out front, 10:30, you show up. Because that's where God's working. Guys, if we're going to worship our God, serve Him in everything, then yeah, we've got to look and know that we do everything in front of His face and then live like it. But we also need to look and say, God, did your cloud move off of my agenda today? Is there somewhere else you want me to be? And we can take that from the individual things to much bigger things, right? Sometimes we show up for our jobs and we're here and we're working, and the Lord says, you know, I moved my cloud to a new place over here. And you'll be a lot more fulfilled if you would just come with me. And you're going to need to pack up the tent, and I'm not telling you where we're going, but let's move. Sometimes that's what God's doing. Worship is being willing to say, God, I see your face in everything. I see the one who loves me. I see the one who hears me. I see the one who's all powerful. I see the one who's called me. I see you. Worship also means saying, Lord, I'm looking for your cloud. And when you move, I move. Whatever that does to my agenda is okay, because God, I want to be where you're working today. And if that's something you really want to pursue and pray into and develop more in your life, I would highly commend to you the book called Experiencing God by a man named Blackaby. He spends 12 weeks just unpacking. What's it look like to say, God, I want to see your cloud. And if you're at work there, I want to be there. We're going to learn how to worship our God. We got to see His face, to see His cloud. And the last thing we need to be able to see, if we're going to worship Him in everything, is His light. 38 of Exodus chapter 40 says, so the cloud of the Lord was over the tabernacle by day, and fire was in the cloud by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel during all of their travels. When the people of Israel came out of their tents in the middle of the night, in an era before there was anything like light pollution, right? Before there was street lamps, before everybody had cell phone that also was a built-in flashlight, when it was just dark. And they could come out on the darkest of nights, and if they would look towards the face, they'd look to see where the cloud was, they were going to see this pillar of beautiful light. A light so bright that darkness could never overcome. Any day for that entire 40 years that they were wandering in the wilderness, whenever they looked up, no matter how dark the night was, no matter if they thought that there were enemies on the periphery that they couldn't see, no matter what was going on inside the tent behind them, guys, when they looked up, they could see God's light. And they knew in that moment, God's still here. God is still on His throne. God is still going to lead me. God is still near to me. And you know, as a matter of fact, if they had gone outside of the camp, if they had decided to throw in the towel, I'm all done with this worshiping and serving God, from a real far away, I bet, they could always see that light and come home. Sometimes worshiping God is simply being willing to say, in the darkest of times, no matter what I'm walking through, I'm going to come out of the tent, and I'm going to choose to see that light. Whether that is the darkness of this day. For some of us, Mother's Day is very, very difficult, and it's really hard today. Whether it's the darkness of physical ailment, it's the darkness of relational tension with somebody that I really care about. Guys, sometimes it's simply the darkness of, it's a normal Tuesday afternoon, and I got an email that just irritates me, and now it's the only thing I can see. Doesn't matter. Worshiping our God is choosing to say, I don't see the darkness, I see Him in His light. Worshiping our God is saying, in the midst of this darkness, I see that my God is present. I see that my God is here. I see that my God is still on His throne. And no matter how dark the darkness may be, He is not overcome. And therefore, I can always draw closer and closer to Him. Sometimes worshiping God with our entire lives is simply being able to say, all I can do today, Lord, is open the door of my tent and look at your light and know that you're here. still hurts. This is still not where I want to be. I'm still praying for morning to come. But I look out and I know your light's there. That's worship. As you and I begin to become a people who can say, Lord, we choose to keep you at the center of our lives. But people who begin to say, God, we believe that worship is about what we see in every bit of our life, not just when we're gathered here on Sunday mornings, is we get to live a life of worship. When we're looking at his face, we get to live a life that says, God, literally everything I do, I get to do it for you, and I get to do it with you, and I get to do it because of you. We're looking at his cloud, we get to say, God, I believe that every day you show up and are at work around me. Do you believe that? And some of us have jobs that you go to and you say, it's the most boring job on the face of the planet. That's okay. Did you know God can still be working there? He's still working in the lives of people around you. Look for his cloud. That's the place you get to worship. And as we look for the light, that's when we get to come even in the darkest of nights. And honestly, that's probably the greatest witness we're ever going to have. Because somebody else standing in the dark watches us look at the light. That's what it looks like to be a priest. What we're going to see next week is that the more you and I are utterly committed to seeing God in the center of everything, seeing his face, his cloud, and his light, that's when we get to show the cross of Jesus Christ. That's when we get to put Christ on display for the whole world to see. But it starts here, by being a people who say we'll keep God at the center. Let's pray. This morning as you come before the Lord, I want to invite you to come before the Lord and ask him to give you eyes to see. Maybe you need to see his face. And you're saying, Lord, I really am struggling to see how I can serve you every day. Ask him to show you his face. And you begin to see him in everything. You say, Lord, my struggle is that I need to see your cloud. I need to know where you're at work so that I can go and join you. Ask him to give you the eyes to see it. And if today you're in the middle of darkness, you say, Lord, I need to see your light. Then ask him to show you. Father God, today we confess before you that we really don't have a category for what it looks like to be a priest. What it means to worship you with our whole lives. So we thank you, Father, for giving us a picture, for letting us see you. Lord, I pray for each one of us that today you would captivate us by your love, and that you would challenge us to become a people who begin to keep you utterly and completely at the center of our lives. Lord, for many of us, we've been trying to do that for a very long time, so help us to take next steps. Lord, I pray that you give us eyes to see and ears to hear, that you give us eyes to see you, Jesus, to see your face, to see your cloud, to see your light. Lord, let us worship you with absolutely everything that we are, with all that we have. Jesus, ultimately, we want to put you on display. And so today we recognize we cannot do that unless, God, you're the center of our existence. Lord, I thank you for the commission that you've put on our lives. And Lord, when people are ordained into ministry, hands are laid, and we are sent out as ministers of the gospel. Today, may we receive your commission. We're your priests. So send us out, Father. Send us out as those who have eyes only to see you. God, let us see you in the center of our lives. In your name we pray, Lord.